Yo, what's up you guys? Jason here again with Good Lift Training Systems, and today's tip and little spiel is on a supplement that I get lots of questions on that's been around forever, and still there's a lot of information going on out there on it, and that is creatine. So I'm going to give you guys a little simple and helpful information on creatine that's going to paint that picture perfectly as far as what it is and what it's for and who this can apply to for a strong candidate on someone that wants to supplement with creatine. So let's just first and foremost start off as far as what is creatine. Well, creatine basically is an energy source, just like carbohydrate and fat are, because our body has three main energy systems. And the first one being your creatine phosphate system. Second, your glycolytic system. And third, your oxidative system. And those are all run off of little macronutrients or substrates that help yield or give us energy for output. So what drives the creatine phosphate system? The very first system in line in our body's output, that is creatine. And the glycolytic system is ran off of carbohydrate, and the oxidative system is ran off of fat. So with that being said, what is creatine? Well, I guess you could say it's a strong energy source for giving us and yielding us energy to do work. And since it's first in line of attack and utilization through anything that we do up into the very first second of movement into about 30 to 45 seconds. And that all depends on how much we actually have in our liver and our muscles. This is why supplementation of creatine is so important, because we are at our most explosive and high intensity type of position when we are in that creatine phosphate energy cycle. But it's very short lived, and it's very hard to keep recharging that so we can keep that energy system on full blast before we start to rotate over to the glycolysis, into where we all know that lactic acid threshold that we all feel when the muscles start burning, etc. So longer we can stay in that energy system number one, the longer we can delay all the other utilizations of energy, which tend to give us energy a little bit slower and fatigue out. So creatine is very, very important for anyone that is undergoing weightlifting, explosive exercises, sprint-like natures, to where we need energy quick and to perform at that high intensity for as long as possible. So by supplementing creatine, we get to expand our creatine, utilizable pool, so our body can keep using that creatine without having to switch over to a lot of those slower energy systems that tend to go on that we're used to feeling, especially when we start to get fatigue and running out of creatine with those muscles burning and reaching that lactic threshold, that respiratory acidosis. So creatine can be very, very beneficial for anyone trying to increase their explosive output, put on more muscular strength and or power, etc. Does creatine, though, directly lead to being a muscle building compound? No, it is not necessarily anabolic. What it does is allow us to get a higher quality of training in, so therefore we can perform and get better stimulus that will allow us to grow. So it will help us, again, stretch out that main explosive energy system for us to get a couple more explosive and strong reps in. Help us recover a little bit quicker between sets to stay at full power so we don't feel like we're getting weaker and weaker as these sets go on. That will directly lead us to higher training quality, and therefore back with good nutrition and rest and recovery so we can repeat that will allow us actually to grow and or increase our performance that much faster. So that's the whole idea with creatine as far as what's going on with that. Is it safe? Absolutely, because our body naturally has an energy system that utilizes creatine, so it's not a foreign entity in our body at all. It's actually very familiar. There are responders and non-responders due to different types of muscle types, etc. That's been led to some types of people out there saying that creatine doesn't work, etc., etc. It can work for some, it can work for others, depending on people's ability to absorb and process a lot of foods that's going down the hatch. So there's a lot of malabsorbing individuals out there that has been led to kind of putting out these rumors that creatine doesn't work, in which it's a flawed fallacy right there, because creatine is something so natural. Our body utilizes it, it has to utilize it, and you can find it in a lot of our foods and meats and etc. So by giving ourselves that supplement of creatine, that just allows us to increase that pool, so therefore again we get more quality of high intensity work out there. So that's why a lot of people that are weightlifters, bodybuilders, anyone that is undergoing intensive type of sports, and that is the list goes on from basketball, football, soccer, baseball, anything that has these explosive outputs, creatine can be very, very beneficial for. And one of the main, what would you call it, side effects of creatine basically is a little bit of water retention, and that not always is a bad thing, because for a lot of people undergoing very intensive exercise, they want to keep a lot of muscular hydration to prevent any sorts of muscle strains, tears, etc. So by keeping your muscles a little bit more hydrated and full will help us actually eliminate the chances of injury a little bit more. But for those that are trying to stay at their absolute leanest or undergoing, a big cut, if they're going, let's just say, if they have vacation they want to look their best at, or a photo shoot, or anything aesthetically going on, that creatine might help have your body retain a little bit more water. But aside from that, it can be a very, very strong performance-enhancing supplement that will allow us to get a lot more out of our training if we are in those types of states where we're looking to increase our performance and an ability to stimulate our muscles for growth. So that's my little spiel on creatine. So hopefully I can simplify that for you guys to understand into where the creatine kind of can lie for individuals for certain goals, etc., etc. So that's my spiel for today. Stay tuned for more. Till next time, you guys.